Welcome to Gospel Basics. Once again, today we're getting into the fundamentals of bass playing. There's some really fundamental things that we're going to learn today, and I hope that they'll help you out as a beginner bassist. First, we're going to start with some parts of the bass. Here, this part right here is called the nut. These are tuners, and we twist these or we loosen these to give more tension or to lessen the tension on the string so that we can get different sounds out of the bass. This, of course, is the neck of the bass, and we see these metal strips going across the neck of the bass. These are called frets. We also have basses that are fretless, and it gives a different sound, but they're a bit more difficult to play as well. But these frets make up the difference in tones on the bass. And we also have these markers that you'll see right here. There's one, then right here at the 3rd fret, there's 2, 5th fret, there's another, 7th, 9th, and 12th fret. We see these markers, and these markers help us to identify where we can play on the bass to find the different notes, which we'll talk about a little later. The front of the neck is called the fretboard, and of course these are the strings. I have a 5-string bass, and the strings, typical tuning of a 5-string bass is B string, E string, A, B, and G. And a 6-string bass often would have a high C string there, and you see the thickness or the gauge of the strings gets thinner as I go down the neck of the bass, and they make deeper tones towards the top of the bass. Again, when I refer to the neck of the bass, when we say up in bass lingo, we're talking about in tonality. So I say play up, like when I'm in worship service and the head musician says take it up, he's meaning actually down the neck of the bass, because the tones get higher as we go in this direction. So this is up and this is down, and also opposite, this is down and this is up, or this is up. So the tonality is deep up here, and it's high up here at the bottom here. Forgot you can't see my fretting hand right here, but it's deep. The top thickest string is ringing out right now, and the lowest skinniest string rings out right now. And the way that works is the thicker string, it vibrates. If there was a wave, think about a wave, it vibrates slower, so it makes a different sound. And then the skinnier the string, it vibrates faster and it makes a higher pitch sound. Another part of the bass we have here is these are the pickups, and there are magnetics and electronics inside here that get the frequency of the wave, and it communicates it down into the electronics of the bass, out the jack and into my amp. And I have a little practice amp here. I also want to show you my what they call pots on my controls. This is a bridge. This is what attaches the string to the edge of the bass. You gotta excuse this one right here. I was in worship service the other day, and as I was picking my bass up, it banged against the bottom of the chair, and these things are plastic, and it just broke off. It's kind of unsightly, but it's still functional. Here we have my controls, and I'm gonna slide down this way so you can see it better. Oops, there we go. Get my knee up in it. Have my controls. This control right here, and it might be in different places on your bass. This control right here is responsible for the pickups. If I turn it this way, the sound is primarily coming from this pickup. If I turn it back the other way, the sound is primarily coming from this pickup, and if I put it right in the middle, the sound comes from the middle. Now, how does that affect my playing? You'll notice that the closer you play to the neck, let me make sure my settings are right. The closer you play to the neck, the sounds are warm and mellow. And the closer you play to the bridge, it's more growly. So if I put the pickup to the back and play down there, it's really and if I put the pickup there and play there, not as much. Again, if I place the pickup to the front and I play here, it's really a warm sound. I mean, a warmer sound. If I put it back there and play, it kind of growls a little bit, even though I'm playing in that position. I put it right in the middle and so hand position. Makes a difference in the tone, and you'll learn that as you go. One for volume, I can go low or high. This one on my particular bass at the back is for the treble sound, or the higher tones. This is the bass, this is the mids. Now I got the treble boosted. Not very loud without the bass. Now I boost the mids. Getting better. I throw the bass in there and it goes. So you can play around with the settings. I like to cut my mids, boost my treble a little bit, put the bass down and do that. Or if certain songs are called for certain settings to roll off the bass. If you want, not all the way off the bass, Sean. Come on, gotta have some bass. It's the bass, right? That's basically my bass, or the bass in a nutshell. Talk about the notes, the actual notes. As we discussed earlier, the open strings. That means that I'm playing these strings without without using the fretboard at all. The open string should be B, E, A, D, G. And if you will go to my site, I have a graphic out there about the musical alphabet. And it doesn't matter what instrument you're playing, you have the same musical alphabet. And it ranges from A to G. And A through G are the natural notes. And this might sound trivial, but it's important, and it'll help you out as a bass player. Learn your alphabet A through G, and also G through A, going the opposite direction. It'll help you out tremendously. It sounds kind of foolish to some people, but being able to say the alphabet backwards from G to A could be difficult. So if you learn it in both directions, it'll help you out a whole lot. But with the musical alphabet, they introduce a concept called sharps and flats. And what sharps and flats are in the musical alphabet, it's the tone in between two natural tones. So between A and B, there's a B flat. There's also an A sharp, which is the same note. Look at the graphic out on the website, and it'll help you get a better understanding of it. But that B flat and that A sharp is what's called enharmonics. And the difference is, if I'm playing, for instance, on the E string, which is the string right here, if I'm at the first fret, E, F, and if I'm moving to G, which is here, in between is either an F sharp or G flat. Now what makes the difference? If I'm going from G to F, I will flat the note. If I'm going from F to G, that note will be a sharp. So I just play F, F sharp, G, or G, G flat, F. Now I'm not a huge theory buff, but that's it in a nutshell. We can go into greater detail later, but